Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, Vanity back with Card Fight Vanguard, Ezel on the Vanity weekly videos. Like, comment, subscribe, shall we? This time we have a decent amount to cover. I think today might be the end of set 8. I mean, or at least for you guys it is. For me, I'm recording this on Monday. The reason why I say this is because on last Thursday when they did like next week, we're gonna show so-and-so, they said stuff from set 9. So that either might be a coincidence that I'm just overthinking this, or we are actually near the end of set 8, because now they're revealing the big one, the one we've all been waiting for, Genesis. So, you know, what's her name? Minerva. So, I don't currently know what the hell Minerva's gonna do. I have an assumption of what it is, and we'll see how well my assumption is compared to the real thing later in the video. So let's go and get this started, shall we? Of the current reveals we have, which is just the new Ava stuff and a few other stuff here and there. So first up, we have some Brant Gate support all around. So we have Unravel the Primordial Galaxy, grade 2 set 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when it's placed on rear guard. If your orders on 2 or more set orders, you may solo charge 1. Okay. I have no idea why you would run this. I can think of one deck I can see justifiable reason running this in, and then every other deck I cannot. Like, I mean, you don't need this in Gravidia, and if you need this in Gravidia, I want a damn explanation, because your meteors do it for you. I don't think Prison needs this at all, let alone could use it. And, Orphis I could see, if it was like Control Orphis, you know, the one that has like the OG Orphis, and then you play the 5k order just because you can and you will, I could see reason for this one. And then as for Ava, like, I can kind of see it, but not to a justifiable reason, especially now to warrant running this. But sure, run this in a 2 if you want to. Then we have Explosive Barrage Dragon Kura Metsuko. I definitely butchered that name. Anyways, grade 3, 2.5% 13k base, auto rear when this unit attacks into anything, by the way. Soul Blast 1, your opponent chooses 3 cards from their drop zone, binds them. If they bound 3 or less, he gets plus 10 for the battle. I love the fact that they stay bound. I love this card because 1, it's generic, and 2, regardless of what they bind, it's staying bound for the rest of the game. Unless they, you know, manage to take it out somehow. I love that skill so much. It's so good. It is only for the cost of a Soul Blast, and I'm honestly tempted to drop the other dragon for you. Know, the one that's like, when it's called by ability, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and it gets plus 10. Dude, I love this skill so much. I can't wait to see like where they keep going with this binding stuff, because binding stuff was like one of my favorite mechanics of all. Like, that's why I played Nubatama. It was always after image for me, because I loved playing after image. So getting more bound cards, yes please, and it's permanent too. Fuck yeah, 3 over 4, just to prove a point. Then we have Return of the Equinox. That, I don't know why, it just sounds so cool to me. Also, this art looks fucking amazing. Like, the skeletons, okay, fair enough. But this arrow-looking motherfucker just shooting down, raining hells of bullets, that is a reference to something, if you know what it is. It just looks cool as hell. And with, like, the sun kind of doing the full rise in the background. Anyways, grade 3 normal order. You may play it if your Vanguard has Shoujo Doji in its card name. So, technically, if you manage to deduct this thing's grade by 1 or 2, you could play this while you're on grade 2. But, you know, most likely you're going to have to wait till you're grade 3. You and your opponent both choose one of your own rear guards, and you bind all cards on those circles. And then at the end of the turn, you bounce them all back to your respective hands. And if you and your opponent each put bound cards for this effect, it puts itself to soul. So great, you know, possible free soul charge, and both players get rid of a rear guard. Obviously, it's benefiting you more than your opponent, because 1, you're getting a toolbox for Shoujo Doji's call skill, and 2, you are increasing your soul, and 3, you're nuking more of their shit. So, or temporarily at least. So I love Return of the Equinox. I feel like it could be a little bit better where, I don't know, I mean, it does it for free, so I don't really mind, but I feel like it could be better where it sends another thing to where it sends the cards from bind zone to soul instead, so neither player really gets the benefit of that. But it's still a good card nonetheless. I like it a lot. I do think it's an amazing order, so I would warrant running it at 3, just because, you know, it's a free skill that activates whenever you feel like it, and it also binds stuff, so 3 of, and goes to soul. Then we have Pistol Dragon Dio Machoria Dragon. I hate it when they do that. It sounds so redundant, but I love its art. Grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when placed on rear by discarding 1. Look at the top cards of your deck equal to the number of research set orders with order zone and the different card names. I knew there was a reason I didn't like this card. Choose up to 1 card from one of them, add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. I misread its skill before. I thought it just said in total of order zone. I didn't think it said different named researches. So at most, you're hitting 4, because there's the blue one, there's There's the blue one, there's the promo Ava one, there's the one from set 5, and then there's the new one. So at most you're getting top 4. This inherently is a worse version of Ava that you're only going to use if you want to like pull off generic discard combos and do searching, I guess. So, and Ava sent 5 triggers to bottom, I guess, for her skill. Like, that's the only reason I can see you weren't running this. You definitely don't need it for the search. I think you run this just because Ava sent triggers to bottom. I think that's the only, because I know me personally, my Ava deck doesn't fucking need this. So, like, if you need this, 2 over 3 of it, but if you don't. Also, I don't think it's even needed in the other research deck, so again, it's up to you if you want to run this or not, but I feel like you don't need to. And then we have Great Sword of Black Fames of Scudoid. All I'm going to say is this, not all of them can be winners. Create unit set 5k shield, 10k base, continues rear guard to guard circle. If your order's on us 3 or more set orders, gets plus 5k shield and 5k power. So, you know, pretty good. You know, it's a 15k shield and 10k shield and 15k power all times. That, I will say, is good because, you know, as long as you have 3 set orders, and it works for all the decks for Brandgate, which is very easy to hit 3 set orders in all of them, except for fucking, I guess, Gravidia, because you're always going down just below 3, and then Prison, because you're never going to run 3. He's pretty much always going to be a 15k and a 10k shield, so that's fine. And then Glitter, Ava, active on both players' turns. If this unit is placed on your rear guard during this turn, if you have 3 or more research orders on, when this unit would decline attack, it battles all your opponent's front row units for the battle. Okay, I'm not saying that skill is bad. I know I said, like, not everything has to be a winner, and that is my true opinion on this card. You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Here's mine. I don't like skills that do that. I don't know why. I feel like unless it belongs to Vermilion, the one that it originates from, I feel like it's just weird to have that skill. Because, like, yeah, it shuts down intercepts and, like, lets you hit annoying rear guards. But honest to God, if it was between, like, hitting the rear guard and hitting the vanguard, which one would you honestly pick? You would most likely pick hitting the vanguard unless you really want to damage starve them. So, especially because in that case, this would suck if you are trying to damage starve them. That means you lose out on an attack. So, I don't know. I don't like this card as much as I like the other ones. Like, Maple feels amazing to me, or at least not bad. I love the Chaos one. I just recorded that Chaos deck profile. I don't hate the dolls, but I don't like them a lot either. Like, they're in the same situation as Maple, where I agree they're amazing. I just don't like them. And then what was the last one? Redlina. Okay, you know, never mind. Redlina's my least favorite. This one's my second favorite just because I don't like Redlina. But, you know, it's fine. It's not amazing in my opinion, but it's still a good card for the deck. So 2 to 4 of because Obscudoid names. Then we have Versatile Assembler, the card I would run if he wasn't a promo. Great turn to set 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear when it's placed, Soul Blast 1, look at top 7. Choose up to 1 set order from Unreveal, put it to your hand and shuffle your deck. I love how that card is just so fucking generic in his skill. Like, I can see almost every deck that has, like, an order searching problem run this. Like, or like any new Brandgate deck they put in, this will now be a 4 of staple until they get more orders, because that's just a free straight up top 7 search. And then auto rear once per turn when your other unit is placed by a card ability, he gets boost. Okay, again, works for any other deck, because guess what? Actually, Gravidia can't do it, and neither actually Seraph can do it though. But you know what else can do it? Orphis. You know what else can do it? Ava. This card is the perfect, like, there are times where I will say a card that is generic is really good, and I'll say it as like a joke possibly, and then I'll learn that it was true later. No, this one I'm genuinely saying is perfect. Like, top 7 search, only for a Soul Blast, when we just got a Soul Charger who is also extremely generic, and searches orders, and gets boost for every single deck that isn't Gravidia. Yeah, when this thing comes out in English, this thing's gonna, or just in general, this thing's gonna be really fucking good for, like, any Brandgate deck that's just starting out. Oh yeah, Wellstroke can also use this. I think. I don't know if the cannon, like, when it gets placed on rearguard, still count as a unit or an order. I don't know. Anyways, next up we have Turnabout Magic Tanaro. I don't know why I was about to talk about, like, the Turnabout. I don't know what the fuck that is. I just heard about the Turnabout one time. Anyways, grade 3, 5k, sorry, grade 2, intercept 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear. At the end of the battle, she attacked while boosted. If you have 3 or more face down cards in your damage zone, put this to soul countercharge 1. Thedra don't need this, or at least the way I play Thedra doesn't need it. MLB definitely doesn't need this. Bastion doesn't need this. I mean, Hexa, if you're like, I can see arguable reasons for Hexa. And then what's the last one? PBD, right? Oh yeah, PBD and Youthberg. Youthberg doesn't fucking need this, and PBO/PBD definitely doesn't need this. So the only one I can generically see this for is Hexa, and I like it because it says 3 or more face down damage, so you don't necessarily have to have no face up, which is the reason I hated a lot of D skills or V skills, because they have to be, you have no face up cards and damage zone, counter charge one. So it's fine, and it gets you a soul too. I don't know, it just feels like, for a generic card, it feels like it's just oddly hinted towards Hexa Orb, because at least the way I play all of those decks, the only one I can see me running this for was Hexa. Considering the rest of them, I don't have counterblast problems, unless, like, I let it be a counterblast problem, I guess is what I would say, and you'll kind of figure out that means if you know how I play. So 2 to 3 of if you choose to run this, but I choose not to run it. Then we have Knight of Terror, Dolchfot. I feel like that's supposed to be German, or maybe I'm just an asshole. Either way, great turn instead of 5k shield, 10k base. All is placed on rear guard from your deck by your Vanguard's ability gets a boost and 5k power for the turn. Okay, so that does absolutely nothing in Bastion, because to my memory, the only card that, well, it does something in Bastion, but not a good amount in Bastion. Hexa, what's that one deck called? Oh yeah, I forgot about Graham Grace. Yeah, Graham Grace might need this. Actually, Graham Grace 50-50. Let's see. Graham Grace. That actually does, well, actually no, Graham Grace doesn't call from deck though. What's the other one? PBO. Nope. Even though they call from deck, that's not going to be useful in there. What's the other one called? MLB. Nope. I kind of Youthberg. I guess to some extent Youthberg I can see this running, but at the same time not really. Like, it's not, again, these aren't bad cards, but in my opinion they're just like, you, depending on your play style, you run them or you don't, and I'm definitely in the you don't play style section. So again, run them if they fit you, but if you're me and they don't fit you, don't bother wasting your time with this card. It's again fine, but I don't want to run it, so 2 or 3 of if you choose to run it. Then we have Strahd Horse. I definitely pronounced that wrong. Great to intercept 5k shield, 10k base. Hey, weird question. This is like really off topic. But does anyone ever like consider, maybe this is because of Wellstruck, but has anyone ever like considered each nation to be like its own language in the world or like region? For example, I know I thought this a little bit before Wellstruck, but Wellstruck kind of like initiated it or like, I guess, solidified it. Does anyone else feel like Brantgate is just the region of Germany? Is that just me, or does like everyone else, or does anyone else have like that feeling where each nation has their own, I guess what you would call place of their own, or like their region that they best belong in the real world, and I just feel like Brantgate's Germany for some fucking reason. Anyways, that aside, auto rear unless you attacks, it gets plus 5k for every 2 research cards in your order zone. I'm telling you right now, the most I've ever hit was 4. And it's not because, oh, the game went to where I only got 4. Actually, no, it is kind of that way. But also because you don't even need 4. You run 4, 3 of them are to use the blue order, and then the last one is typically an extra copy of the Shove to Soul, Countercharge 1, Bounce, and Obscurity back to hand. Like, and you do that in the main phase, so you go back down to 3 immediately. Like, this skill, in my opinion, kind of not worth it, because most of the time I would only get 5k out of this. I mean, if you built your playstyle around it, yeah, I could see it, but again, with the way I see this, it's not going to do anything, so choose to run it if you want, but I don't suggest more than a 2 of. Then we run Hardened Axe Dragon. Great 300% 13k base. Auto rear when your research is put into your order zone. By retiring this unit, you can countercharge 1. It's not bad, but with the arrival of that grade 1 order that countercharges for Ava, I don't think you need this, especially because with how order of effects go, you have to play this one first. If I remember correctly, the countercharge from that skill says you have to have not countercharged that turn. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just has to be you can't have countercharged by that card's ability that turn. Either way, I don't like this card because, like, Arkwright doesn't need this, the other research deck. And Ava definitely doesn't need this as of lately. So run this if your deck has counterblast problems, but I question how it does, considering all the variants I've seen of Ava do not have counterblast issues. So 3 of it, I guess? 2 of it if you choose to run it. Again, I question why you would run this in an Ava deck or Arkwright deck, but whatever. Next up, we have an interesting sneak peek of Minerva, which actually shows Angelica in the art. Interesting, because I only thought we were getting Minerva. I didn't. Are they gonna do the PBO treatment all at once where they get Minerva and Angelica? I'm kind of curious now. Anyways, the Wisdom of Beginnings, opening up the world, grade 2, normal order, counterboss 1 to play it, draw 2 cards, choose 2 cards from your hand for each card chosen, call it if it is a unit card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and discard if it's not. Okay, so essentially if you play this on grade 2, never pick a grade 3, and if you picked a grade 3, never play a grade 4. I feel like this order has no downside, really, because, like, there's no way in hell your hand is full of, like, cards for this, unless, like, you are playing this when this is your last hand card, and then you top deck 2 units that are both higher grade than your Vanguard. So, this is a nice order to play in the early game. It's fairly generic, so it can be used with all of them. Maybe I am reading too much into this, but I feel like this gives us the hint of Angelica. By the way, for you guys, yes, and Minerva and possibly Angelica are already out, but again, this is on Monday that I'm seeing this, so for all I know, this could just be a red herring, and it could just be Angelica's in the art and nothing more. Either way, I like this order a lot. I think it's really cool, and I'm willing to give this a 2 of tech. What if Angelica's the grade 2 of the ride line? What if that's the... Ooh, I have theories now. And then we have Knight of Severance thing I can't understand, but I see a moon in the background, so automatically I'm biased towards it. Anyways, grade 2 and stuff, 5k shield, 10k base. Autos pissed on rearguard. If your Vanguard only has a single clan, it can be any of them, so it can be Royals, Shadows, fuck it if they made Golds. In this case, Genesis now. It must only be one of them, though. Soul Blast 1 and discard 1. Choose a card from your drop zone whose only clan is the same as your Vanguard, and add it to hand. So, Soul Blast Persona Ride, ditch anything, fetch Persona Ride. I feel like this card is going to cause problems later. Especially if Bushi decides to print PG. Oh god, I just thought about this thing in premium. This thing can fetch PGs back from drop. Ooh, this card's gonna cause some stupid shenanigans and fucking anything that belongs to Keto Sancho, I tell you that much. 3 of for now in D, because, you know, I don't think every deck needs this, but I'm telling you right now, D is not where we should be looking at where this thing's crazy is going to go, because while you can't fetch back PGs with this, in D, V is a completely different story. So keep that in mind. And good order. Yeah.
And once again, I'm going to do the final reviews from Discord because it's way too much and I don't feel like doing it in the Google site. So, here we go. We have a bunch of stuff for Real Dress. First up, we have these new characters. We have introducing Sophie Bell with her new unit, Almagester Astrea equals Unica. So it has a really cool design. I'm thinking it's probably either a Stoicaea unit or a Lyrical Monasterio, because it gives off Zorga vibes, but Blitz Order Zorga vibes. So, I don't know. I feel like this card's going to be very interesting. We have introducing Samuel Fredson with his new unit, Blue Deathster Skyrender Avantagada. I really want this to be another Dark States deck, because guess what? We have the name of Bruce finally, and that is Diablos Vehemence Bruce. And I would just love to see these two fuckers go down and throw it out in a fight. I mean, look at these two. They're both buff as hell. They're like polar opposites. I would love for this to be a Dark States deck. These two fight in the anime. If these two fight in the anime and this is Dark States, I will actually watch the anime. So, really cool. I do like the fact that Vehemence Bruce kind of sounds like, what's it called? What does it sound like? Violence Bruce, just a different name. Also, the fact that Bruce is in quotes. Actually, no, wait, never mind. It was always in quotes. But yeah, no, it's a pretty cool thing nonetheless, just getting to see all these units. I cannot wait to see these boys in the anime. We have new versions for our new art styles. So we have this for an interesting image. I like how it just shows. That is New York, right? It looks pretty cool, I gotta say. I still don't like Yu's little cutoff thing, but still looks cool. And then my return of the least favorite female character for me. Well, she was bound to come back eventually. I do love this art of Michiru, though. He looks cool. Then we have Donji. I've honestly been waiting Donji's return. Donji is my only favorite character because they're the only character that Wildress never manages to ruin for me. That and Toya, so really hoping those are cool. But hey, Masanori is coming back, so we're going to see him fight finally. And then we have this new character, Halana Walker, who is probably not a Vanguard fighter. Looks very weird in my opinion, but she also looks very familiar in terms of an anime character. I don't know why. Then we have some news on Set 9. So first up, we had a trailer on Set 9, and I don't have access to the trailer, and I'm not going to bother replaying it, but we have so much stuff. All I'm going to say is this, from the theories I've heard, there's either, like, like this is the new second coming of Link Joker where some of the units get possessed, or in my opinion, because it straight up looked like it, we're getting a new Gravidia. We're definitely getting a fuck ton of new ride lines, or at least a lot of support. If we are getting support, Heroes is one of them. Or Wellster is one of them, because one of those cards looked like a Wellster card. Oh yeah, that also means, oh no, the Brancade boy's not coming back, whatever his name was. No. Okay, anyway, set 9 is called Draco Tree Invasion. So, okay, that may actually be Link Joker's second coming, because we have Great Nature, by the looks of it. We have Skyrim, which I'm still going to say is a Dark States deck, but I could also see it being Brancade. And then we also have Stoicheia / Lyrical Monster. I want to say Stoicheia because, you know, it has that background that makes me think it's Stoicheia, but I could see it being Keto Sanctuary. Then we have, finally, the new Minerva ride line. We have Vivid Rabbit, Grade 0 Boost, 5k Shield, 6k Base, Auto Road Upon, if you 1 second draw a card, Star on a Splash about it. I do like the fact that it kind of reminds me of Inaba Rabbit from Oracle Link Tank. Then we have Witcher Frogs Melissa, Grade 1 Boost, 5k Shield, 8k Base, Auto when she's rode upon by a unit with only Genesis Force Clan. Look at the top 5, choose up to 2 cards from one of them, put them to Soul and shuffle your deck. So cool, it's nice that that's just a free Soul charge 2 if it's rode upon by any Genesis unit. Doesn't matter who it is, and also it doesn't matter what you send to Soul, it's just any 2 cards, so that's great. And then Auto when this card is put into your Soul, into your drop zone from your Soul, if you have Vanguard Minerva in its card name, call it to back row center, and if you called it, you may Soul charge 1. Okay, I love that skill because that means if you are on a Minerva, if you Soul Blast her by any skill at all, or just move her from drop to Soul, or from Soul to drop, then you can call her back to the back or rear guard regardless of where it is, regardless if it's on top of something or not, and then you don't have to Soul Charge if you don't want to. I think this skill a lot is genuinely really good. That's why I love some of the encounter cards. In my opinion, they have like some really good, I guess, revamp skills outside of like Overlord and PBD's first second comings, because honestly that's pretty good, you know, getting the maybe Soul Charge and the free call definitely in top 5 search. Nice card, and I think maybe a little bit worth running in the main deck. I'd like a 2 of possibly. Then we have Witch of Raven's Chamomile. Yep, her skill is exactly the same. Auto when it's rode upon by a unit with only Genesis Force Clan, copied and pasted the first skill of this season, so essentially top 5 search, put 2 cards to Soul. Okay, kind of boring that, you know, both of them have that skill, but hey, it's still a good skill nonetheless, so I'm willing to get points for that. And then Auto when she's put from Soul into your drop zone during your turn, if you have Vanguard from Minerva and its card name, counterbots 1 call it a rear guard. Yeah, well, they can't all be winners because it has a straight up copy of her old skill plus a copy of the skill. I mean, it's still good nonetheless because, again, calling unless Minerva ends up costing too much counterblast, he at least costs 1 because I read part of its skill already. Then it's going to be an issue, but hey, you know what? I like the way it is right now. Does get multi-attack possibly, and especially with extra boosters, so that's all around a pretty nice skill to have nonetheless. So I'm going to give this thing a chance out of 3 over 4 of, just because. Then we have Omniscience Regalia Minerva, grade 3 to 9%, 13k base with 3 skills, continues Vanguard during turn if your soul has a grade 3 with Regalia in its card name, whether it's herself or Angelica, which by the way, I was fucking right, Angelica is getting printed. All of your farmer units get +5 for the turn. If I remember correctly, Angelica's skill sent herself to Soul. I mean, I barely read it, but I'm pretty sure it does, or even if it doesn't, we definitely have ways to get it in there for this to be first grade 3 turn, so that's pretty cool. And then active Vanguard once per turn by Soul Blasting 1, look at the top card and put it at the top of deck or put it to Soul. So we have deck stacking skills now. Okay then, well, this is one way to get another Regalia into Soul, and this is just another way to stack triggers. Genesis just really took that Oracle Think Tank approach, didn't it? And then Auto Vanguard once per turn, then about she attacked. If your opponent's Vanguard to grade 3 regarded by counter blasting 1 and Soul Blasting 3 cards and discarding only Genesis card from your hand, stand this unit and lose a drive for the turn. Oh my god, they overcomplicated that skill so much. It was going so well till they did that, so we have the starter, we have these two, we have her and the presumed support, so that's about 5 cards that are Genesis related. I mean, that does better in premium, but whew, it's kind of shitty, honestly. I mean, it's not that bad because there are multiple ways to probably get those in Soul, but just the fact that the audacity that you have to discard specifically a Genesis unit, and most of them you're probably going to want to get on board just to get that stand, kind of like, it's not really worth it, especially if you have to like ditch a Persona Ride or ditch an Angelica because you might not even have the 5k thing yet. It's not bad. We get deck stacking and we get this, and when their opponent is possibly a grade 2. So this doesn't have to be a winner skill. It's the most iconic skill from her, but hey, it doesn't have to be a winner. And I do like the fact that they definitely revamped her skill, because I know it didn't have these 2 skills back in the day, or at least this one may have been tagged on with this one, so all around it's pretty good. So I like Minerva a lot. I think it's a good grade 3. It's a very interesting, maybe I'm just overreacting about the Genesis thing. We'll see when I do testing on it for Friday. So, 3 of them in the main deck, 1 of them in the red deck. And then we have Apple Witch Cider. I think these are the last 2 cards. So Cider is a grade 1 boost 5k shield, 8k base. Auto rear at the end of the battle, she boosted. If you have Vanguard Minerva and Carney, you bounce it back to hand. Cool, works perfectly for me. Just call rear guards just to bounce them back so I can do rush. And then Auto is put on guard, so if your soul has a grade 3 card with a Galen's Carney, gets plus 5k shield. Cool, 10k shield, I like that, and not to mention, like I said, it fits me perfectly where I can call this card to rear guard in the early game for a rush, and then immediately bounce it back to hand to be defensive. I like this card a lot. I think it's a really good grade 1, and this definitely isn't me being biased, because if it was, then I would have probably said, this card is shit because it doesn't get more than just 5k shield, but even just 5k shield is really good as well. So all around, nice card nonetheless, 4 of, in my opinion. And then we have Regalia of Wisdom Angelica. Ignore this because I know you guys definitely see it. But Angelica, I really do wish she was like a main grade 3. But, it's fine, I guess. Anyways, grade 3 jump, 13k base. Auto rear guard at the end of the battle. She attacked if you have Vanguard of Minerva and card name. By soul blasting 1, choose one of your Vanguards, gets plus 5 for the turn. Then by putting her to soul, countercharge 1. Okay, great. If the deck ever did run into a counterblast problem, because maybe you're spamming both Camineo and Minerva, she can send herself to soul to countercharge 1, and not to mention the fact that she can add a little bit more power to Minerva as well, and then send herself to soul to give even more power to the front row. All around, I love Angelica a lot. I think that skill is amazing. Definitely makes sense that she's the triple rare. I love her. If you don't know, I love Angelica. I always loved Angelica more than I love Minerva. I do wish she was the main grade 3, but winners can't, or beggars can't be choosers, and she's still in the deck, and in my opinion plays a very important role. So 4 of Angelica, amazing grade 3 nonetheless, and definitely would run her. And then our last quote-unquote card of the day is Alter Ego Messiah Crest, which, by the way, before I continue with this, next week we are getting more cards from set 9, or I think we're just getting their skills revealed. I mean, also with Thursday today, but then also we are getting one of the G units from Messiah, so we'll get to see what they have in store for us. But anyways, Alter Ego Messiah Crest continues. You may perform you can't perform strides and cannot ride from grade 3s or greater without Messiah on their card names. Okay. And this is probably why they put that skill, because Chronojet has been abusing the shit out of that in team fights. Anyways, continuous, the original power of their grade 3s with Messiah on their card name become 13k, including heart cards. And then continuous, during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Messiah on its card name, all your front units get plus 5k for each face-up card in your G-zone. Okay, so I feel like this is just going to be like a reprinted skill across the board, where just like, they just give that power to the Vanguard, though. Yeah, that's definitely happened with the Chronojet one. Yeah, that's going to be a reprinted skill on all of them, I can bet now. And then auto at the end of your turn, unlock all your opponent's locked cards and bind those units. Huh. Okay then, well, I did not see that coming. Kinda interested to see where that goes, not gonna lie. I'll save theories on this one for the next episode. But either way, that's it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, a lot of these cards seem really great. I cannot believe Angelica's back. I am going to enjoy test playing the shit out of this. And not to mention, we have a bunch of new stuff to theorize about set 9. I have my obvious favorites, and then the video that I'm not going to do a reaction of because I'm afraid to get copyright struck. But yeah, no, there's a lot to unpack in that one, so I suggest go watch the video on the Japanese YouTube channel and come back and tell me what you think about them, because I'm definitely curious to see everyone else's theories on this. So without further ado, I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your Vanguards.